head coach DeMeco Ryans, who is the former defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers, seems like he's more inclined to find a defensive player, somebody like Will Anderson. And we have heard previously that the Raiders did want to trade up to the #1 overall pick from the Chicago Bears. And we've also heard chatter lately, and this is from Diana Rossini of ESPN, that the Raiders are keeping all options on the table, including trading up. And it could be possible that they trade up with the Arizona Cardinals for the #3 overall pick and select the second best quarterback in this draft.
You mentioned the Raiders. I was told that the Raiders, they've got everything on the table, and they're going to watch how this thing shakes out, right?
And perhaps the Raiders would know what the Texans want to do at quarterback if they're going to pass at QB at pick #2. Well, because they went to college with the guy at John Carroll University, that is general manager Nick Caserio, who did even play college football with GM Dave Ziegler and Raiders head coach Josh McDaniels. So they know this guy, and maybe they're getting a tip that he might pass on QB, and so it'll be worth it to trade with the Arizona Cardinals. And for the longest time, just a few weeks ago, we were all talking about how CJ Stroud might be the best quarterback in this draft class. And many people thought that Frank Reich, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, would select CJ Stroud with that #1 overall pick. But maybe he's been destined to be a Raider this whole time. We remember him being asked about who he would like to throw to, and he did imply that he'd love to throw to Davante Adams. And Davante Adams even liked this video that was posted, CJ Stroud admiring the wide receiver. And now it seems like with all this news happening right now, and especially this latest news about CJ Stroud, really seems like the Raiders could quite possibly land this guy as their next quarterback. General manager in his pre-draft press conference let it be known that he is open to having competition at the quarterback position for Jimmy Garoppolo. And now we've had some negative stories about CJ Stroud and stories about the fact that he could be falling in this draft. You have Brady Quinn mentioning that he ghosted the Manning Academy.
The Manning Passing Academy, I've been told that, he committed to it the night before, just kind of ghosted him, didn't show up. That's football royalty.
You also have the results of the S2 test that came out, the cognition test, and CJ Stroud performed the lowest out of all of the quarterbacks. Funny enough, Dave Ziegler responded to questions about the S2 test and whether or not he values them.
Yeah, in terms of the S2 cognition test, we're familiar with it. It's not something that we currently utilize here. We use a lot of different other available tools for us evaluating quarterbacks and other positions. I know what it is and some of the value of it that we currently have in place here.
So it seems like for Ziegler, the S2 test does not seem to matter that much, and maybe he's going to take Stroud anyway. And the big kicker you have is Michael Lombardi, and we know Michael Lombardi. He is the freaking dad of the offensive coordinator of the Raiders, Mick Lombardi. He's his dad, and he goes out in the media quite often and defends Josh McDaniels. He is just the bodyguard of Josh McDaniels, fighting all the negative rumors. He blamed Derek Carr for the poor offense when Josh McDaniels ended up benching Derek Carr. And more famously with Darren Waller, Lombardi was the guy who claimed that Waller just dipped out without talking to anybody. And Waller later debunked these claims, saying that he communicated with Josh McDaniels. And it just seems like Lombardi, right whenever a player leaves the Raiders, he goes out and slams them and tries to defend the coaching staff, which makes perfect sense because his son works for the team, despite the fact that he's always telling us, oh, don't worry, the fact that my son works for the team has no impact on what I'm saying.
It's always the players are right, the coaches are wrong. And I'm not saying this because my son's the coach there.
And look, there's nothing wrong with having a biased perspective. We just know where he's coming from, and that's why we find it very interesting when he is out there talking trash about CJ Stroud, which is essentially what he's been doing.
CJ Stroud's an interesting guy. Not an easy guy to coach. He's very not believing in what you're saying.
Saying that CJ Stroud is not coachable, he's hearing he's not coachable, he's hearing that he's difficult to work with, and saying that he ultimately thinks CJ Stroud will fall in the draft.
It's like he thinks he knows better?
He thinks he knows a little bit better. He's probably hard to kick to coach it.
And so maybe Lombardi is trying to help out his son in Josh McDaniels yet again. He helped him out against Derek Carr in the media, helped him out against Darren Waller in the media, and now he's turning to CJ Stroud to help him fall to at least pick #3 so the Raiders could make that trade with the Arizona Cardinals. And look, if the Cardinals still elect to take a defensive player and maybe the Seahawks and the Lions do the same, the Raiders could still land CJ Stroud if all those teams cannot find a partner to trade up. But the most likely scenario that they nab CJ Stroud is if they go trade up. The question is, what will the compensation be? And just to be completely honest, the Raiders are not going to walk out of here only giving up a couple extra second-round picks to trade up to number 3 to get CJ Stroud. That's a freaking child's dream, and we got to grow up. To trade up with the Dolphins, the San Francisco 49ers had to give up at least 3 first-round picks to select Trey Lance. So in order to trade up with the Cardinals, the Raiders will have to give up their number 7 overall pick, their first-round pick next year in 2024, and probably something else, probably an extra second round, a third round, or maybe a player. That's going to be the minimum compensation if we're being real. And is that worth it for somebody like CJ Stroud? Are these concerns manufactured in the media to tank his value? Is that what's going on right now? And if the Raiders have already paid for Jimmy Garoppolo, should they just continue to roll with Jimmy Garoppolo? Or this is sort of a waste of draft picks that you can be using in the future for your defense to go and select CJ Stroud when you got Jimmy G paid for this year and a little bit of next year, almost like $10 million next year that you'd lose if you moved on from him after one season. But with the reports from Diana Rossini, ESPN, it does seem like this is on the table for the Raiders and a possibility. Let me know in the comments below what you want the Raiders to do, and check out some of these other videos you may have missed on this channel. My name is Wi-Fi Willie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.
What is going on, everybody? Let's get this thing going right now. How is it going? Make some noise for me in the chat. Already have a good amount of people here on spontaneous live out of nowhere. But we're going to be doing this a lot more. We're going to be doing this a lot more if you haven't noticed yet. Tons of live. Oh my goodness, guys. I can't do this Bill. I cannot.
Well, this was yesterday. I don't want to hear this, though.
Yeah, I think we're open.
To be correct. Well, I think that's true. Absolutely. Egyptians care their people are being appropriated. I mean, I guess, yeah, like it's, if I was an Egyptian, let me, I'm thinking, like, how would I feel in this situation? If I was from Egypt and some group of Americans are making a documentary about, like, an important person in my history, and then they change the race because of some sort of, what's the word for it? Like, fucking, like, not really political correctness. I don't know what it is. Like, it's just a woke agenda sounds silly. I don't know. For, like, a cultural reason. I could see Egyptians being mad about that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's fair for them to be pissed. Sure.
degree and an opinion. And I have to say, when you see these so-called experts in the trailer, it just gets even worse.
It's possible that she was an Egyptian.
Possible she came from outer space. I mean, she didn't. But if I use enough weasel words like possibly to get this tiny fraction of, well, you don't know for sure, then I can just spin a false reality into it based off absolutely no evidence at all.
I imagine her to have curly hair like me and a similar skin colour.
I imagine that she was a Ferrari F430 that flew through space. Just because you can imagine something doesn't actually mean it's reality, and in fact, your entire perception of the world is entirely irrelevant. This is the problem with...
Like, this is kind of my perspective on this kind of stuff, right? Is that Egyptian paintings had correct skin colors, multiple races mixed in. Just Google Egyptian kneeling painting. Like, personally, I don't find this stuff to be like a big deal, but at the same time, I think that it's very obvious that whenever they're doing something like this, they're very clearly trying to paint a certain picture. They're trying to tell a certain story. They're trying to do like push a certain narrative or whatever. And I think people just don't want to have that.
Fuck!
Like, they just,
Fuck!
Like, they just don't want to deal with it. So that's what they're trying to rewrite history. Yeah, exactly. So like, while I don't think it should be illegal for them to do this or whatever, like they should be able to do it. But I think it's also fair for people to say it's fucking stupid. It's not historically accurate, you know? Like that's it.
Telling kids they're the center of the universe. They believe it and think that their perceptions can change actual history.
I imagine her.
I mean, honestly, that clip is so bizarre. I don't know whether he's an expert or just a guy they dragged in off the street and started asking him to describe his mum.
Well, this is what's happened with a lot of things. It's the same thing that happened with like that Velma show and like a couple of these comics where apparently the people that made the show just created effectively self-inserts or characters that look like them to where it's like this is them in the story. So yeah, people see it again, and it's like, okay, well, fuck this, especially whenever it's like a real character. Tom Hanks is Barack Obama, and we call it even. Yeah, sure, sounds good.
Hair like me and a similar skin colour.
But all of that seems...
Yeah, and I feel like if they did that, Ryan Gosling is in okay, yeah. If they did that, people would have the same reaction. What the fuck are you doing? What is this?
Fane compared to the next one.
I remember my grandmother saying to me, I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black.
Look, I always listen to my nan, and she said it doesn't matter what reality is. I know best. Don't listen to what anyone tells you with them factual history books. They're all lies. I mean, she might even...
How would she even know that? Wasn't Cleopatra like thousands of years ago? It's not like your nan was like 1,000 years old. Like what is she? Yeah, she wasn't alive then. She didn't know her. Like, oh, it's like this is like maybe 100 years ago, like 50 years ago, and it's like she has a better grasp on.
That was crazy.
Years ago, like
that was crazy, bruh. Crazy. Good job on everyone. That was fucking crazy.
Now, far be it for me to question the academic rigor of a documentary on Netflix, but I do think you have to draw the line somewhere, and I think as good a place as any is at the opinion...
I think that the way you draw the line is you don't watch it. Like, if you don't like the way the show is and you don't like the characters, don't watch it. Because if people watch the show and it still does well, they'll just keep making more stuff like this, because Netflix doesn't really, like, the thing is, look at the Bud Light controversy. Whenever people start losing money, an apology immediately comes out, things are halted, everything changes. Whenever people lose money, that's what matters.
Of somebody's gran. But it's not to say the entire show is full of lies. They do get one thing right.
There was a time long ago when women ruled with unparalleled power as mothers of nations.
They did give birth to a lot of people. And if anything, I think the trailer was very open about why they're trying to spin this obvious lie to begin with.
There is no future without the past.
Because you build your future off your history. And if somebody else has got a history you want, well, just try and take it for yourself anyway. Gaslight people into believing that actually it's yours, and take the credit for it. It's an interesting act of thievery. It's just incredibly stupid. Not that we're dealing with potential Mensa candidates here.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have people do this all the time. And it's like the same as, I think that there's like people that think that the black Israelites and, oh my God, what are some of the other ones? There's like these other sects of people that think that there's like some like racial context, like Kanye. Yeah, Kanye is like a whole, that's like its own separate thing. Black Jesus. Oh my God.
Whoever Elder Goss is, I'm gonna go.
Oh man. That shit is just nuts.
Remember, this is Jada Pinkett Smith we're talking about. This is a woman who couldn't even stay faithful to her husband, Will Smith, and then decided to bring him on her podcast to tell him all about it. We got to see a man break live on camera, and I think this is the exact second his soul left his body. So integrity...
Well, yeah, I mean, if she can't stay faithful to her husband, what are the odds she's going to stay faithful to the story? No, it's a good point, sure.
Definitely not her strong point. In fact, you could say that she's willing to do whatever it takes to get what she wants. So with that in mind, her motivations become clear. She shed more light on the anticipated documentary, and when asked how did you go about picking the queen, she really wanted to represent black women.
Well, that's what it's about. There it is. It's that fucking simple. I mean, damn.
The sad part
yeah,
is,
that's what they're
she
trying
doesn't
to
have
do.
access to these historical women who were so powerful and were the backbone of nations. So I guess she decided to just make them all. Yes, this is
there's tons of people who believe this. It's like an entire, like, massive line of thinking that, like, people think, like, Shakespeare, Thomas Edison was black, like, all the Egyptians were, the black Israelites. Oh, man. It's a rabbit hole. I've been on the internet for 20 years. 25 years at this point. Fuck. Yeah, I've seen some shit.
Which simply seems to come out of her own face. Because while she did get interested in a few people, she loves to talk about how she is doing a purely factual show. She chose not to go with a narrative structure because that would mean that you would take a creative license, and that's not what she wanted to do. She wanted to stick to strict historical facts of each woman. And if the facts don't match the documentary that you want to make, well, I guess you can just change them. Like she did in her interview with Will Smith. Here she is describing what it's like to betray your husband.
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes.
So is it any wonder that she has absolutely no idea how to accurately describe somebody who's Greek? Maybe that's why she finds that these stories actually aren't well known, because they've just been made up in her own time.
I mean, can you imagine going up on, like, stage and slapping somebody for that woman? I really can't. Like, I can get, like, maybe it's like he doesn't really give a shit about all the other stuff. Like, damn. It's one thing to take that and be like, it's like a weird time in our relationship. Like, okay, whatever, right? I don't know their details. But to go up and slap somebody over it, like, bro, come on.
This is a particularly weird one because it directly contradicts the trailer.
She has become an icon. Her story resonates with everyone.
Maybe that is exactly why she chose the story, because this is a name that everybody knows.
Yeah, exactly, because people know who Cleopatra is. Yeah, duh.
Aren't actually quite up to date with all of the information. They may not know all of the facts about it. This leaves a nice little grey area for you to sit in and then just lie to people who may well accept it as fact. Especially when you pitch your show as a documentary. And so this is somebody who is apparently so important to so many people.
Resonates with everyone.
It allows you to rewrite history and change it, and then use that as the foundation for your supposed future.
There is no future without the past.
Maybe that's why she didn't choose any queens of England, because there's a lot of historical literature there, so everybody would have called her on her nonsense. Now the thing is, she probably doesn't know that there are actually statues of Cleopatra, but this isn't a woman who's going to let something as basic as facts stand in the way of...
I don't think these people give a shit about whether it's true or not. They just want to tell their story and have it be about them. I think all the time people get so upset and mad that this is, duh. Like, they just, bro, they just want to write the story about themselves, and then that's it. They're rewriting history. Yes, exactly. Jesus, yep, that's right. There's black Jesus, bro. You go to China, There's Chinese Jesus. You go to Korea, guess what kind of Jesus there is over in Korea? It's fucking Korean Jesus. That's right. You look that shit up. And then you go on down to the south here in Alabama. It's white Jesus with blonde hair. That's right. Swole too? Yeah. That's just how it is. What people do, man.
A good story.
An entanglement?
Yes.
That might be why it's so supremely important to her that it's a docudrama. Because if you take a topic that you think most people are ignorant in and tell them it's fact, then a lot of them are actually going to believe you, even when you're entirely wrong, or just pitch your lies with a load of weasel words.
Possible. I remember my grandmother saying,
And as you...
I love how, like, I find it to be very funny that you can have a story, and it's like this is a historical accounting of something that had happened, and then one of the people that's making the show,
Lucky bastards.
well, my grandma told me. It's like, what the
88? How would it be 88? Shouldn't
My
it be
grandma said
80?
it. It's like this is part of the selling point of the show. It's so ridiculous. Oh, grandma, yeah, I wonder what else grandma thought.
Go down, this whole thing just gets worse. Talk about how she was engaged in the casting. Her main thing was authenticity, authentically telling the narrative that she's trying to spin rather than historically. And apparently touched on some very sensitive subjects, which is probably why the Woman King rewrote history in that regard as well.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate for a lot of nations that the English kept such great records. Although I did find it funny when she said she was really hoping to break some stereotypes. And like,
Oh, that's what it's about. It's all about sending a message. It's about telling a story. Now, is the story true? No, it's not a true story. But it is about telling a story.
Definitely do that. Trying to appropriate Greek culture as your own. No one's going to see that coming in a stereotype. But most surprising of all is when she said she wanted to break the stereotype about what black Africans are. Largely, the stereotype that they would have to be African. Yes, bizarrely, Jada is taking pride in this, despite the fact that I would be incredibly
Well, that's
offended.
what it is. They're trying to appropriate a... No, think about it, right? They're trying to appropriate a person that was in a strong position of power, as it's like, well, this is somebody that's like us, and so now we can feel better about it. In my mind, I don't like the whole foundation of that. What the fuck does it matter? She's dead. She's been dead for a long time. She don't have anything to do with you. What do you like? Who cares what she did? It doesn't matter. Like, what do you think? I feel better about like George Washington? Yeah, it was like it's kind of good that he didn't leave. Like now we have America, and I like living here. Okay. Maybe it's better somewhere else. I don't know, but I think it's fine here. Okay, cool. But like, I don't take pride in this, as in like I have some sort of like shared accomplishment. Like I'm not taking credit for George Washington here. Like I didn't invent the light bulb. What is this? Like some people do. It's just it's so stupid. It's like foundationally, it's so stupid.
Because what you're actually doing is implying that African history isn't interesting enough on its own, and so you've got to take somebody else's instead. Personally, if I was from there, I would be incredibly offended and very offended.
Well, absolutely, because you gotta keep in mind that Greece and this shit. Like in America, like there was the whole slavery thing, like the Jim Crow shit, the voting stuff, and like even now you have like fucking cops shooting people. It's bad. And there's still racial tension here. But like over there, they don't have that history. So you go and tell somebody over there, they're not going to give a fuck about this. They're not going to care at all. It's just going to piss them off. That's it.
Then again, does she really need more people angry with her? Especially when she's already getting sued by the Egyptians for changing their history and claiming it.
What? Wait, I'm so wrong. They do? Are people confused? That's very wrong. What did I say that was wrong? Greeks had slaves too? Yeah. Sure. Misunderstood? Yeah, I didn't say anything wrong at all. Like, the context of slavery probably isn't and like the racial tension probably more big in American culture. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you go back far enough, every country had slavery. The Greeks had it, the fucking Africans had it, China, I'm sure, had it. Oh, Russia, I don't know about, I have no idea about Russia. That's how they did shit over there, you know? That's it. China still has it? I have no idea. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The point that I'm making is, like, in most places there was slavery until there wasn't. You're not wrong, and China has them now. That's who's mining the lithium. Oh, who knows? Everyone disagreeing never left the Western world. Well, the point is that what I'm trying to get at here is that, like, other parts in the world don't live their entire, like, their culture isn't based around that racial tension that it created hundreds of years ago in the same way it is in the U.S. There's a lot of reasons for that. That's the point. So, like, yes, of course these other places had slavery, but it's not, like, front and center in the same way it is in the U.S. It doesn't seem like that to me at all.
Fact, saying that most of the Netflix platform doesn't actually conform to Egyptian values and principles, which isn't surprising. This is Netflix platform.
Most of the Netflix platform displays do not conform to Islamic societal values and principles, especially Egyptian ones. Well, that's because it yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Doesn't actually conform to Egyptian values and principles, which isn't surprising. This is Netflix. That they have any values and principles, and said that it contradicted Egyptian history, and is in fact, by any definition of the words, colonialism. Personally, I can't wait to see what documentary Jada makes next. Maybe she could even star with one and be the first man on the moon. One small step for man, one giant lie for mankind. And if I was an actor in a documentary and therefore wanted it to make money, I wouldn't be telling my customers to sod off. Largely because it seems like they're doing that already.
Well, I think that people, like, this is the problem, is that, like, they'll put some actor in a position, and, like, a lot of these actors aren't really used to, like, they're setting this person up to be a target dummy. Because everybody is going to see them and be like, wow, this is the person that looks like the, you know, oh, this is the person that represents the thing that I don't like. It's like the same thing happened with, who was it, Leslie Jones in the Ghostbusters movie? This has happened with tons of people, and Twitch did this whenever they did, like, that Safety and Trust Council. Wait, Safety and Trust Council. That's what I meant to say. With, like, having that deer girl on there, and, like, you just put that person in front of everybody, and most people, this is the truth, most people are not used to. They're not used to that level of exposure.
So you've spent all
They're not used to that level of, like, pressure and attention and aggression, and they just can't fucking deal with it. I think most people couldn't deal with it. I would say probably 99% of people couldn't deal with it. So it's never really a surprise to me whenever somebody pops off after they get shit on online.
And so you're going to need everyone to stick around that you physically can, because the audience have been making their voices heard, with 25,000 upvotes to 295,000 downvotes, with 2.3 million views. And how did this result? Did Netflix go, okay, we've listened?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Holy shit. God damn. I'd say fuck the writers, I need to work. Yeah, for sure. Well, let me see what this is. Agree or disagree, you're wrong. Slavery can stay in the Middle East. Iran had full-on slavery until 1929. Saudi Arabia had slavery until the end of the 19th century. Oh, yeah. I honestly... Like, number one, I wasn't talking about those places. I was talking about, like, Greece and, like, Egypt. But...
Greece
yeah,
lightning!
Sure. Yeah, I'm not debating that. Like, I'm not really sure what's the point.
to you, and we're just going to fire everyone involved in the production because this is obviously factually wrong, and the very reason for the existence of this show hasn't been fulfilled. No, Netflix didn't do that. Instead, they stopped people talking about it. Yes, while one actress is attacking the fans, you've got Netflix silencing them on the trailer.
Yeah, usually whenever people turn comments off on a video, there's a reason for it. Exactly. Abso-fucking-lutely. Yep, that's it. It happens every time. Like I feel like the amount of videos that have come out that are good for somebody's personal or like public reputation, or like Netflix's public reputation, that have comments turned off. Is there a single time that a video has ever been released that had comments turned off that wasn't bad for a person's reputation? I don't think so.
Because the one thing everybody involved in this seems to despise is anybody pointing out the truth. Even says here, comes a new documentary series. Our series will reassess this fascinating part of her story. They are going to actively lie to people about it and then prevent anyone from correcting them. I don't see how those actions can be taken as anything other than malicious against Egyptian culture, and I can...
Well, it clearly is, because they don't care about Egyptian culture, they care about their own culture and reinforcing what they think. That's it. And if people don't like this, they should turn off subscribe from Netflix. I guarantee you, if a bunch of people unsubbed from Netflix out of nowhere, like I'm talking about like 20 million people, not 20 million people, they lost $20 million overnight because of this, bro, this shit would be canceled instantaneously. These people would be on their ass yesterday. It would be finished. Because as the consumer, as the user, you have all of the power. Whenever people say the customer is always right, this doesn't mean that Karen, whenever she comes into Starbucks and they spell their name wrong on the cup after she already drank all the coffee, and now she wants another free one with her name spelled right. We're not talking about Karen. We're talking about the customer as a collective. And the customer as a collective is always right because they can choose what they will and they won't buy. And if you don't buy something, that's it. It can't exist. It's that simple.
Fully understand why they're getting sued. I'm just not sure if malicious hatred against Egyptian culture is something you can actually sue for, but it's Egyptian law. I don't know. What of course.
I don't think they should we should sue? Like, no, like they can just be, like, sometimes people can just be stupid. I don't think every instance of a dumbass needs to be met with litigation. I don't want to see litigation about this. It's just they're dumb.
As always, you would expect the machine just to keep on grinding and silence people who are speaking out against this. There was a Change.org campaign which actually got removed, apparently believing in facts.
Bro!
Actually violates Change.org's community guidelines, which is an interesting policy to have. Because back in the day, there was actually uproar that Gal Gadot actually got hired as Cleopatra. But of course, people like Jada wouldn't have quite the same energy for one as the other, despite the fact that Gal Gadot would be far more accurate than the actress she's actually hired. But of course, everybody knows the truth. This is simply about the narrative that you can spin. We're gonna call it.
It's all about the narrative. That's it, man. That's the whole point. Isn't changing history called revisionism and basically a crime? No, I don't want to see. I don't want to see somebody like. I don't care if somebody's say bullshit. I think people can say whatever the hell they want. They got every right to make this. Just as we got every right to say, "Damn, that's dumb." That's oh yeah, right. Yeah, right. Look, I don't want to say, well, definitely not. Oh, I told, like, as an, maybe this is an American country, I think people can have dumb fucking opinions. And the moment that you tell people they can't have dumb fucking opinions, there's only a matter of time. I don't want to go down that road. I'm not a fan of it. I think these people are talking wrong. I think it's obviously an agenda. It's obviously, you know, like but it's their right to do it because that's their right to express. But they're dumb. They're dumb, but it's still their right. That's it. It's their right to be stupid. And I think people have a right to be stupid. You have a right to be wrong. There you go. There'll be dumb people in that position that believe the dumb opinion. Okay, so who decides what the right opinions are? And then also, once somebody decides what the right opinion is, how do you have something like science, for example, where science constantly evolves? And science changes. Like people's perception on one thing, it's like people at one point thought the atom was the smallest thing, then they found out things below that. Like what happens at that point where science is fundamentally changing and at the foundation of the scientific method is the null hypothesis? How do you have something and then just say, oh, well, you can never challenge what's I disagree with this entirely. This is ridiculous. People can have stupid opinions. Absolutely. I'm sure most people in here have at least a number of them. That many people they think that's true. I don't want to put somebody in jail for expressing a stupid opinion. This is not worth the government's time. It's a much deeper problem than you realize. It's okay to make now. Teachers start teaching in class and use this documentary as a fact and become a fact real fast. So if the teachers are teaching this in school, that is a totally different thing because that is a government agency. Like, and also, by the way, Jesus, we're going off on such a fucking tangent. I think that you're completely fucking wrong with that. So the reason why you're totally fucking wrong is that I think people have the right to homeschool their kids. They do. And even though most people that homeschool their kids end up fucking teaching their kids that the earth is 6,000 years old. I think that it's so fucking stupid. You're sabotaging your kid. It's like you're splitting their fucking ankle weight for life. It's so bad. But like people at a certain level have a right to decide what they're going to teach their kids, their life, and their friends. It's their autonomy. And I think personal individual autonomy is very important. And if you take that away from people, I think that is it's a road that you don't want to go down. So I think in a public school, absolutely there should be accountability for it. But in my opinion, if you send your kid to a private school and they're teaching this shit, you played yourself. You played yourself, bro. Like, yeah. It's your right to do that. That's an okay, yeah. People have a right to their opinions, not their own facts. Yeah, but most facts and opinions, there's a very big gray area between facts and opinions. Some people think that there are facts. Some people think there's a lot of people that think their opinions are facts. People say that about me all the time. You got to keep that in mind. I don't see how I can be having this conversation and be receiving so much pushback against this position when we just got through with COVID for 3 years, when the facts kept changing, and if you ever expressed one of those changes or an opinion on one of those changes that wasn't the current popular way of thought, you were completely deplatformed. Like, didn't we just go through this? Didn't we just see how this happens and what happens whenever you mandate facts? This is so bad. No, it's just a dream. Yeah, exactly, man. You're right about that. Yes. I mean, I don't see how am I getting any pushback on this? This is insane. No. Let's see here. People fail to realize how much you still get put onto the lab leak and that has more evidence. The thing is, I don't even know I don't care where it came from. Lab, I have no fucking idea. Maybe it came from a lab. I think there's a good chance that could have happened. Sure. There's a good chance. But the truth is that I don't like this idea that there's only one acceptable line of thought, and anybody who deviates from that line of thought has to be silenced and shut down. Because I think that as soon as you start doing that, it's only a matter of time until one of these lines of thought is wrong, or it is proven to be wrong. And this is just what happens because the world evolves. That's it. And so whenever that happens, there are going to be people that try to hold down the old way of things and say, well, you can't challenge the new way of looking at things, like, you know, heliocentric fucking universe, view of the world. I don't remember what it was. But basically, like how the sun revolves around the sun. Like, I've never seen a single time in history where not allowing people to think a certain thing was a positive. Like, really. When was this ever a positive? Never. My point is that I think that these people should be able to make the Cleopatra. Maybe they shouldn't be able to call the documentary because it's false advertising. Maybe, but like, is there proof that Cleopatra wasn't black to like beyond?
There's statues of her, dude.
I don't know. I'm not a fucking expert in this. I genuinely don't know. If the answer is yes, then yeah, they probably shouldn't be able to call it that, because it's literally false advertising.
Yeah.
But other than that, just having a different opinion, I don't think this should be against. That's my point. So I think that the way that you fight something like this and the way that you push back against something like this is not litigation, it's conversation. It's a free marketplace of ideas. And thank God we have that. There's never been a better time to be able to express yourself than now. Anybody has a voice. It's a very good thing.
In fact, but we all know it isn't. Maybe that's why Adele's tweet was framed in such a manipulative way, because she found a couple of tweets to put them up and use them as a shield, as if anyone that's criticizing me at all are just like these people, and you don't want to be.
This is very true. He brings up a very good point here. This is what happens a lot whenever people have like a reasoned pushback against something. What happens is that people that want to push the narrative anyway will take the extremes of that pushback and then put them forward as if that's the norm. Like, everybody out there is just like, because I guarantee you there are some people that don't like this, and they don't know whether Cleopatra was black or not. They have no idea, but they just don't like it because they don't like black people. And I guarantee you there are some of those people tweeting at her. Absolutely. And so you take a few of them, and then you put them forward, and it's like, hey, this is the norm. That's just what happens. You're creating a false narrative. But it's not completely false, it's just distorted.
You like them, do you? And we've seen this time and time again. The classic example being Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It seems that some of the fan base have decided to attack Moses Ingram online. Horrendous, racist DMs. You're no Star Wars fan in my mind.
If you have a problem with the people who made the tweets, message them. You wanted to use it as a way of slurring others.
Well,
to make
I'll say that part is definitely different because, like, wasn't that shit like Star Wars? Like, gives a fuck about Star Wars, right? I mean, I think it's like you have a much more gray argument whenever you're talking about a fantasy, Star Wars isn't real, right? It's fucking fiction. But like, whenever you want to tell a story about a specific person in history and you change something, it's like that's much different.
Seem like anyone who disagrees with the casting are just like the people engaging in this.
Exactly.
It was to attach the two, to blur the lines,
Absolutely.
to make it seem that anyone who disagreed with the casting is motivated by the same reason as the people I'm calling out now. When the simple thing is, this isn't about a casting. This is about historical accuracy. This is about fact. You're putting yourself as the factual person that looked like Cleopatra. This isn't a question of the best person for the job. This is a point about actually lying about history and getting it wrong while telling everyone that you're the actually correct person. That's why we dragged a guy off the street to talk about his mom in the trailer.
Curly hair like me and a similar skin color.
Because you come at this not as if it's actually history, not as if it was a reality that happened, but as if everything is just cut down to opinion.
Well, it's a story they want to tell. I think that's what it really is. It's just simply a story they want to tell. That's it. Yeah, they have the moral high ground. That's it. They think they have the moral high ground, and because they have the moral high ground, that they can just do whatever they want.
This is my truth, and my truth is different than yours, and that somehow morphs the world around me. So arrogant, so egotistical, so center of the universe, that you can't even understand that an objective world exists? No, of course I look like Cleopatra because I have that opinion. And don't worry, I don't care how ignorant or wrong I am, because I'm just...
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I would even say, and this is somebody, by the way, my understanding of Egyptians is like, there's like an Egyptian zone in like New World. I played Pharaoh. It was like an RTS game back in like the 90s. And like I know some of the gods because of, you know, like just like mythology stuff. So like I'm really not an expert in this, okay? That's the point. I kind of assumed
or cool down attack.
That back in ancient Egypt, there was probably a
Ooh,
bit
this is
of a
gonna be
gradient,
annoying.
and I would assume there probably were some black people. Probably not all of them, maybe not even the majority. But I would assume since it was a really big place and there were a lot of people there, there were probably some Europeans, there were Greeks, there were fucking Africans, there were people from the Middle East. Like that's kind of what that's what I guessed. I don't know this, but I'm not sure. I'm not an expert. Please, I am not an expert. But as a completely layman's perspective, that's what I think. However, we're not talking about whether there are any Egyptians that were black. We're talking about a specific Egyptian and what their race was and what they were. Because I think that almost every reasonable person could assume that there were probably some black people in Egypt back then. Sure. I would almost bet.
Gassed and will continue to be, because don't you understand, I got paid. I may be telling my customers to not watch the show. I may be costing Netflix millions by making a tweet telling their customers not to watch the show, but I don't care. I'm gassed and will continue to be. I don't care how much money you cost Netflix. That's Netflix's money, not hers, and generally theirs.
Well, they're probably already done with that. Yeah, she got the bag. Yeah, she does.
Correct response to somebody blatantly wasting your money and scaring off your customer base that you need to make a profit, you'd fire that worker immediately. And yet, here we are. Why? Because this isn't a documentary about the truth. It's about building the future off of past.
There is no future without past.
Resonates with everyone.
And we don't care what past it is. We don't care whether it actually happened. All we want is a story to build.
What is this
Because
fucker
this isn't
doing?
about the truth. What it is for Jada is about hearing stories about people she wants to hear about.
Yeah, somebody said in chat, I also want to say, there are documentaries depicting Jesus as a white European. Yeah, like, whenever I think of what did Jesus actually look like, probably not like this guy. Probably not like me. I mean, I don't know. It's just, you know, kind of you put two and two together there. Probably looked just like the guys in Israel. Yep, somewhere around there.
It's really important for her and her daughter and her community, I suppose the next door neighbors or something, and it doesn't seem like she cares whether these stories actually exist or not. If they don't exist, she's gonna make them up, and we're gonna call it factual history, because she just assumes everyone in the audience is incredibly ignorant and thick, so they won't know they're being lied to in the first place.
Well, I think that also there's people in the audience for watching this that want to hear it. They want to There's definitely an audience for this.
To be fair, she's probably very
Bad marriage for life.
That's terrible.
And I guess she thinks for everyone else, a couple of slurs
I
will
wonder
do.
why, like, what, like, dude, what goes through your mind before you put something like that out on the air?
But those are just my thoughts. What
Yeah,
are
I
yours?
never
Let me know down in the
watched
comments
this.
below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. And Brian fucked? Yeah, I guess so. Historian writing, 100% sure Cleopatra was black. I couldn't prove. I could prove that, but no one in the field was ever so far off that this is pretty necessary. I see my next paper coming. Well, the problem is that
people have like such a revisionist view on stuff like this that what's really true doesn't matter to them, because all they want to hear is their own opinion reinforced. That's literally all they give a shit about. That's all they care about. I think this is a pretty decent video. I'll link it for you guys. There's no understand the third view. I don't care. This isn't r/atheism. I don't care if you think Jesus is real or not. Shut up. That's not the point. I don't, like, literally nobody gives a shit. Why would you waste your time typing that? You compare a real person with not real? Well, I don't know. There's people that think Jesus is real, people that don't. Who the fuck cares? I mean, sure. I think that if you follow the story, it's the same general idea. I think that there's always people who try to nitpick analogies and nitpick things, and they're like, yeah, but this is like a little bit different. Like that's not even the point of it. It had nothing to do with it. Jesus. Sorry, pathetic. A show like this only comes from deeply insecure mentality. Oh yeah, no doubt, man. Jesus was a banana. Prove me wrong. I don't know, man. Let's see here. Guys, take who the fuck cares? Well, the point is that what I was trying to get at is that, and I think that Chatter did have a very good point, is that people try to depict Jesus, who is viewed, even if you disagree, if you don't think Jesus is real, a lot of people think Jesus is real. Even Muslims think Jesus was a prophet. They just don't think he was the Son of God. There's a lot of people that think Jesus was prophet. And everybody who thinks Jesus is real could probably agree that he wasn't white. That's all I'm saying. I'm just he probably didn't have blonde hair. He probably did not look like a European. You know, or at least like a white, like usual, like British or something like that. Who knows? Who cares? Well, I think it's a fair comparison to say that, you know, well, because they're race swapping Jesus, then it's kind of my perspective on this always is like this. I think that these people should be able to make the documentary if they want. It's just that people should be able to call them out on how fucking stupid it is too. I think that's really what's fair. Is that, you know, I think people should be able to express themselves in whatever way they want, even if it's really, really fucking stupid. Which it seems like this definitely is. Yeah. Let's see here. It was objective. I don't care. Like, why do you... It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not talking about whether it Jesus, people are... Like, what is this? Oh my god. Yeah, the guy in the video is probably the answer. Don't like it. I mean, it's obvious that a lot of people don't like it. That's why the video got almost 300,000 downvotes. It's very obvious. World of Warcraft will be dead in 5 years. Here's why. All right, let's find out. 5 years? More like 2. Yeah, true, man. This shit is done. Oh, it's over.
During my lifetime, as popular genres have become more popular, Blizzard have not implemented these popular genres into their own game.
I agree with that. I actually think that they should have a, they should have like Fortnite and WoW. That would be really cool.
Instead, we've got new features like pet battles, scenarios, island expeditions.
I don't know. I feel like the pet battles, scenarios, and island expeditions, islands were only bad because you had to do them. The other two, people generally like them, or they don't participate in them. Wow. This isn't clickbait or anything. Alright, let's find out why.
So we're going to be analyzing.
I love how any screenshot that anyone has of a YouTube thing of like WoW is dead, there's every single one of them has a clip of one of my streams. WoW is dead again, LOL, lowest ever, me smiling, it's Bellior.
For years now. So we're going to be analysing why people say that, and why can we all agree that World of Warcraft isn't the absolute title.
WoW will be dead in 5 years. I fucking doubt it. Fucking VR is gonna bring that shit back to life.
Put World of Warcraft and Warcraft Classic together, you have 1.1 and then 5 basically. You would obviously have 1.6, which would put it ahead of Final Fantasy. It would be number 1. So, like, I don't know. I mean, that's one thing I would say. Also, like, any of these websites, by the way, are completely inaccurate. Like, there's no way that they obtained this data that has any sort of, like, legitimacy to it whatsoever. Yeah, all of these informational websites are just complete garbage.
One of the really big things is World of Warcraft has simply not adapted to the audience. When I say the audience, I mean the population of the planet who spend their free time playing video games.
Okay.
Their tastes have changed, and WoW has not adapted to that change in taste.
I think it has. I think that WoW has adapted a lot, and I think examples of WoW adapting is things like, you know, them adding Group Finder, Dungeon Finder, War Mode, like giving people other ways like Mythic Plus, like having different rating sizes. Yeah, it's adapted a lot.
To best understand why WoW isn't the titan of the industry anymore, we have to analyze the actual why.
Okay, so we have 2015, where it's right here, and then 2016, and do you want to know why there's an asterisk next to every single one of these? Is because the person who made this graph, there's literally, like, you're going to make an argument that it didn't even go up at all for Shadowlands, or sorry, for BFA? Absolutely not. It didn't even go up at all for Shadowlands? Absolutely not. Yeah, this is all an abstract because it's an extrapolation of data. It's crazy how people... I really think they need to start teaching, instead of Algebra 2, they need to start teaching statistics. Please start teaching statistics in school.
WoW isn't the titan of the industry anymore. We have to analyze the actual titans of the industry, and I think that boils down to 3 different online game genres.
Okay.
The MOBA, the Battle Royale, and kind of the survival game. So MOBA...
I would agree with that, but I also think that there's like a massive genre of games that are just phone games. Like, phone games are bigger than all of these. Like things like Clash of Clans, stuff like that, auto battlers. These are huge, and you just don't see them at all. And I think this is kind of the point that I'm making, is that, like, you're not seeing those because you're only thinking about this contextualized around, like, PC gaming.
There's going to be stuff like League of Legends and Dota, Battle Royale, Fortnite and Apex Legends, and then survival games like Minecraft and Valheim.
Yes.
And there's also some objective-based shooters in there like CSGO, Valorant and Call of Duty. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the...
CSGO, Valorant, I mean, like, I think shooters... Really, Valorant is the... I think Valorant did cannibalize a lot of the CSGO audience, and I do think that new people coming into the scene, like, if you're 13 now, are you going to start playing CSGO, or are you going to start playing Valorant? I think that most 13-year-olds are going to decide to play Valorant. Now, I have no data on this.
That's me, killer. Beats in the hood.
rep the gang.
What it good be, homie? This what it should be. This is your boy N-O-R-E.
What up, is DJ EFN.
And this Drink Champs Yappy Hour. Make some Right now, when we started this show, I wanted this brother on this show. I've got to see him from one of his first shows in New York to here. I don't know if you remember this story. We'll get to that later. Hold on, let me get to that later. But I want to show that this brother here, if you put George Clinton, Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, and put a little bit of the Beast Boys in there, with all feel-good music, this is what this brother would be. He is relentless, and I can see him, and I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen him mad. I think I actually see he actually enjoys life.
Fuck you not.
He's been
piece of shit, dude.
On a crazy mixtape run.
Never
to
rotating
all
bottom.
of his accolades, to all of this things, and he got all type of clothing line,
all kinds of merch and
Khalifa Cushes and all this
liquors.
He's an entrepreneur. He's the first stoner to come here on time. Excuse me, he came early. I was still getting my hair cut. I was like, oh, this is the first time. And when I gave him a 5, he said, because I'm a businessman, Nor. And in case you don't know who we talking about the one, the only, motherfucking Wiz Khalifa.
What's cracking?
Yes, my brother. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yo, one of the first shows I believe that you had in New York. I don't know if it was the first show, but I think it was like one of like your top 5.
It was the first show.
It was the first show.
Yeah.
And do you remember what happened?
I do remember. You remember what happened?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember what you called me?
Yes. Okay, what did I call you?
You called me Wiz Khalifa. So I'm a kid. I'm like still in high school and shit. I was like 17 years old maybe. And this was all hip hop. It was Breeding Ground. So this was like early blog era days.
Peter Rosenberg.
Yeah, exactly. So there was only like a couple cats doing blogs and they were covering a couple dudes. And it was me, the Cool Kids. I think what was Knowledge in his dude's group's name? They were from Chicago as well. I forget.
You said Cool Kids already.
It was us, and Nori was the host.
Yeah.
So he was like, everybody loves Nori. He's legendary. Like, you know what I'm saying? We all look up to Nori.
And I fucked up your name.
It was classic. It was the best person to fuck up my name. And I feel like you're making up your own words anyway. So Khalifa, it means something.
You know what I thought? That's how you pronounce the thing in Dubai.
Oh, okay.
What is it called?
Khalifa.
Yeah,
the Burj.
I was close.
The Burj was not even built back then.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, I'm bugging out there. Just let me get away with it. But
this nigga did a silent L.
Let me ask you, man, because as soon as I, pulled you up, one of the craziest things on the internet about you is your feet, right?
Yeah.
They are on your feet.
Yeah.
You gonna get a foot deal? I swear to God.
You said a what?
A foot deal.
Like foot deal?
You ever seen Seinfeld where he became a hair model?
Oh, okay.
I feel like for some reason
I have been getting like tons of offers from like people to do foot products and Snoop. Shout out to Snoop. He doing Skechers.
Okay.
But like more like moisturizing creams and things that'll lock the moisture in. Cause I really don't have bad feet. They just dry.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. But I've been working on it though. Like honestly, like a lot of people, they don't take that type of criticism and do anything about it. Like me, I've been lotioning my feet every day. I went and got a pedicure. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get it right.
Right now. Let's make some noise for Wiz, man. I feel like you're one of the people that you always feel good energy.
Yeah.
Like, and to me, in this game of hip hop, so many people, they get bitter, after a while, whether they're successful or not, and I just feel like you always have good energy.
Yeah.
How do you develop that type of aura?
You kind of just got to take everything and roll with it. And I just reached certain points in my life where like looking cool isn't the object, I just love to make music. I love to take care of my family. I love to entertain my fans. And as long as I'm doing that, I'm pretty happy. The other stuff, it doesn't really bother me because that's not what I wake up and do this for.
Right.
Yeah, yup. And then like the bitterness, I think that comes with like bad relationships or things where you take it personal. And there's a lot that goes on in this industry that could make you bitter, but you have a choice whether you want to react to it or not. So I just don't let that type of stuff phase me, man. I just base my relationships off of different things, and that's how I'm able to move.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got a collaboration with a porn star?
Yeah, Mia Khalifa, man, like one of the biggest. She's an ex-porn star, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so she came into the game. That's kind of like how people notice her. But she's been able to pivot and do a lot of other things. I think she still has her OnlyFans, but I don't know if it's going to play hard. Nah, we doing Khalifa Kush together.
Oh.
Yeah, so me having the Khalifa Kush brand, shout out to Burner. I built this whole brand with him.
Yes.
It took us 10 years, and now we've been all over the United States. We're going overseas.
Right.
And we're branching out, and we're doing celebrity endorsement deals as well. And she's the first one.
And that's under Khalifa Kush, and that Khalifa Kush is under Cookies?
No, Khalifa Kush is its own brand.
So stand
Yeah, but we come from the same cloth though. Like the same cuts that Burner gets his trees from. That's the same, tender and care that we putting into the Khalifa Kush product. So anything that comes out under Khalifa Kush, whether it's me, Mia Khalifa, or any other artist that we endorse at the time, it's going to be a really, up to brand product.
So, bouncing around a little bit. I remember, I think the first time I heard Ty Dolla $ign was with you.
Yeah.
Is Ty Dolla $ign still with Taylor Gang?
Yeah, Ty's always going to be Taylor Gang. We started out managing him.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know that Taylor Gang is a label and a management company. So a lot of those first moves that you were seeing in his career were from, me and Will managing his career and putting him on tour and, just getting him out there, like basically using the same stuff that we were able to accumulate, but he was already there as well. He already knew a lot of radio people, already knew a lot of writers and producers. It just took a little extra push. And just having the platform that I had, we were able to use that through Taylor Gang. And, Ty's a legend. He was always meant to be who he is. And we were just able to, push it a little bit faster.
Right. Let me ask you, right? Because, coming from Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
And then the known city is
Philly.
It's Philly.
Yeah.
How was it harder for you being from Pittsburgh? And how was it? Did you have to navigate? Because I know people from sometimes they have to go to New York.
Yeah.
Was it something like that? You had to skip over Philadelphia and go to New York?
Any legends you looked up to that came out before?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long story about Pittsburgh because we were really influential in the early 90s West Coast sound with like Sam Snead and Mailman and those are people who worked really close with Suge and Dre and Snoop and like really pioneered that sound, but they just weren't in front of everybody.
Clean.
So we always had like it is. That's good stuff. So we always had like a direction that we wanted to go in. We just never had anybody to like wave that flag for us. Right. And just being from PA in general, I think it's really difficult for a lot of artists, even from Philly, to get noticed or to get looked at and be like, these guys are original or have their own sound. And I think anywhere, you have to really leave and become bigger somewhere else for your city to kind of look at you as somebody. I feel like even if you're in New York, like nobody's going to call you your rap name. They're going to call you who they know you from the block. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, you have to make yourself somebody and then come back home. And it was the same thing with Pittsburgh. It was a lot of grinding and being a teenager, being somebody who was just trying to find myself as a young adult and, make music that was appropriate to who I was and that translated to other people that were doing different things. It took a minute, you know what I'm saying? But it was worth it. And I love Pittsburgh. It's crazy. From the beginning all the way till now, like we have a lot of talent out there when it comes to producers, musicians, artists, cameramen, designers. It's such an artistic city, bro.
You don't miss the winners.
Nah, don't. It's so cold.
It's so cold. And so, what was it from the moment, like, because to me, you're a rock star, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you transitioned just being a hip hop artist, just being a stoner. Like, you're, if not, I think you already is. You're a superstar, right? But it started from being a rock star. At what point did you see yourself transition and hip hop. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say you bigger than hip hop, but, you know, like feeling like my audience isn't just hip hop. You know what I mean?
I feel like I have my own like subculture of hip hop. It's like alternative rap.
Right.
Where it's rap, but it's not like hardcore shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like to say crossover or mainstream, but that was always my goal, to make big songs. You know, I never wanted to just be underground or just be a nigga who was just known around the way. Like, I wanted to appeal to worldwide crowds, and that's how I write my music. That's how I structure it. And just, you know, my knowledge about music, it goes beyond just hip hop.
Right.
And that's why it translates the way that it does. But I think for me, it's more just the attitude than anything, because you have to have the knowledge and you have to understand music and how to appeal to people and who you want to appeal to. But also you have to have a certain way about yourself that you present it, and pretty much sometimes I'm the only one who cares about my opinion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't give a fuck sometimes.
Like being you in the studio and you're the only one who likes this vibe and you still go with it?
Just in general, about how I want to dress, about how I want to talk, about, just being different, just how I live my life.
Right.
Like, I'm the only one who agrees with me a lot of the times, but I feel like that's
something
the rockstar
Wiz
energy,
Khalifa
is
does
just not
do. He
giving
like
a fuck and
pronounces
doing
his
what you
words
wanna
all the
do
way through.
and presenting that to people and making people love you for who you are.
Right.
And I do it in a safe way. I'm not dangerous. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not trying to hurt myself.
Right.
So, you know, I always just conducted myself with this confidence and this care for myself. Yeah.
Was the first deal you had with Warner?
Yeah, the first deal I had was with Warner.
I was the rep, and he actually was a young cat in the street team. And we worked. And did you feel that it felt in the beginning, if I remember correctly, and I might not, but it felt like in the beginning Warner didn't know how to work your record,
how to market them.
Yeah.
At that time, the music business was really like just. They didn't know what to do. I think like Lil Scrappy was the biggest artist at Warner at that time, and that's because Trillville was popping off, and they had J-Rock, you know what I mean? And Kendrick was under J-Rock, so they didn't know what was going on with who was going to be where in 10 years. You dig what I'm saying? And it was up to us as the artists to like pave that way for them. And yeah, you're right. They didn't know what to do with me, but I had a song that like appealed to the radio. It was called Say Yeah, and it was over an Alice DJ sample, and they never heard nothing like that at that time. They were like, who's this kid, you know, mixing like, you know, rap with techno? Like, they never heard that. So of course they put me in the studio and tried to get me to make 30 songs like that. But I'm talking about smoking weed and riding around with my homeboys and hanging with girls, and they're like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I mean? Where's the techno at? so it didn't work out.
Because it felt like, going back to that blog era, it felt like the traditional marketing style that was being done from the majors wasn't working, and it felt like you and that whole generation found your own lane on your own, and you made it work.
Yeah, it was just more going on than what the labels were like showing people. You know, they were just trying to polish it and kind of get the best of that, but they weren't trying to get everything that was put into that to get to that point, and that's what I was showing everybody.
Do you think artists even need labels at this point?
Hell no.
Right?
Nah, if you're an artist,
I think you're gonna say hell yeah.
Nah, if you're an artist, you are your own label. Like
because you know what's crazy about, like, obviously I come before you, but your generation still, people will get discovered, right? This generation is already building their fan base. They already have a fan base. If they have 5,000 spins, it might be 5,000 different people. They're already building their fan base. So I always wonder, but then you'll see an artist, you know, get some popularity, and then they'll still go and they'll sign. Why do you think it is that?
There are good labels out there.
Yeah, they are.
That take care of their artists, that nurture their artists, that, you know, promote them and, you know, make them a priority. But that's just a certain game that you have to play. And if you don't want to play that game, you don't have to. And I think a lot of the artists sign because they don't know what they're signing up for. I think you should be fully aware of what you're getting yourself into and then sign the paperwork. Like, don't sign it thinking that you're gonna get a Rolls Royce and you're gonna fly private and, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what you get into it for. It's a career. It's like signing to a basketball team. So you have to put in work and you have to do other things along with that to make it freaking lucrative, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's all a part of what game you want to play. But to succeed, no, you don't need that. No.
Like right now, being EFN is opening a distribution for podcast, and our contracts are like 2 pages. So it's not no complicated shit.
Right.
It's like if you want to be here, you be with us.
Right.
You don't want to be there. I feel like record labels, if you sign to a label, it should be that.
Simple.
It shouldn't be that complicated. It
Nah,
should be
it should be, especially with all the niggas who's going to jail these days, and the niggas on drugs. So you gotta have life insurance for a nigga.
Okay.
You're making an investment, so like, you know what I'm saying? You got a lot. It's like a car, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
Like-
even the car's not a lifetime contract.
But
like, there's people who have life.
Yeah, in perpetuity in the universe.
Like I'm
Yeah.
sorry to sound like the old
Like, they
nigga,
really
but when we signed, there was no digital in my contract. That shit never existed. You know what I'm saying?
But it is because of in the universe.
They said the universe.
Yeah,
what is it called? Perpetuity. I didn't know what perpetuity meant back then.
It's still in the contract.
Yeah, so.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you just gotta know what you're signing up for. Like, you can own certain shit, and then you can break bread on certain shit for a certain amount of time as well. You can work it out into your business. And then, just like you said, these days it's more dependent on the artist. So the more you walk in there with, if you have a fan base and things like that, the more leverage you have to say, this is what I want to do for how long. So that's my advice for anybody, is to just build up your leverage, so when you do actually, start taking those meetings or considering it, you're in a good place.
And so you can level up, take advantage of the machine.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you, bro.
Do you know you're a legend?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Smoke some hookah to that.
Yeah. That's what we smoke.
That's your butt in there.
Oh,
Khalifa.
tastes amazing.
I feel like I'm in Dubai.
Tastes rosy. Tastes like flowers.
Oh my God, Mr. Lee! Mr. Lee!
This is marijuana. This is good weed.
Sure you had it.
Heated to a temperature that turns it from not into smoke, but into vapor. So it's not smoke, it's not harsh, it's not bothering you, it's just vapor.
That's right.
Very
Goddamn.
smooth.
Shout out to hookah,
We
man.
got all type of commercials out this
They're
motherfucker.
killing it. This thing is dope. Look at y'all.
It's technology right here. Yeah, this ain't no coal.
Now.
Oh, so you can get more.
We could adjust. What does that do?
Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Mine ain't going. I got lotion on my hands. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. So it's got to be on the. Yeah, I see the different modes. Oh, damn.
So it's different modes.
Oh shit.
Different mode.
Yeah.
Hold on.
More smoke.
On. Is this one off?
Help him out, Boris. Or Diego, help him out.
The third one?
Diego,
Third one is the one.
Oh, come in, come through.
Yes. All right. All right. Let's get it.
Like he's from the company right here.
I got it. I found it. That's the one? All right. I almost turned that bitch off.
No.
You wanted to finish the interview?
Yeah. What? 3 is the hardest?
Yep.
All right, man.
You got the cartridges? So we can show
me over here.
Show them the cartridges.
That's official.
But Wiz, we want you to
I'm
know.
just gonna take this with me, okay?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, we want you to know our show is about giving people their flowers while they live. We want to literally give you your flowers.
Thank you. These are flowers.
Luke said it's like a Grammy. You know, this is fun, man. You know what I mean? Like I said,
It's beautiful.
yes, make some noise.
That's exactly where I'm gonna put that.
Now, another thing about how hearing your music, I was running through it. You mentioning watches a lot, man.
Yeah.
You a watch guy?
Yeah, I was.
You was?
Yeah, I slowed down since I had a kid.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I hadn't bought a watch in a minute. Actually, Burner bought me this watch. This was a gift, man. He just popped up at my house one day. He was like, thanks for being a good friend.
Yeah.
You've been a real good friend. He's like, you walked into my life at a real important time. He was like, I just want to show you how much I appreciate you. And he just gave me a bust down.
God damn it, bro.
Shout out to Burner, man. Shout out to B, man. Shout out to B.
I gotta upgrade my friends, man. Y'all gotta step it up.
Boy on the cover of Forbes, man.
Yeah.
That's a good friend.
I'm fucking around.
Shout out to Bray. He got that with the 420 box, and the first thing that pops up is Drink Champs.
Oh yeah.
See, Burner be showing love, man.
Yeah, you got the screen.
We're going to the lake house, B. I'll see you in a second, brother.
You ever thought? I know this is like kind of a cliche, but you know, back then people would be locked up for touching any type of bud. Like
totally.
I remember one time in my hood, I threw the joint away. The shit blew away, and the police still arrested me. Yeah. He said, I saw you smoking. I was like, there was no evidence. I mean, like, this is fucked up. And now in New York City, you can smoke right in front of the police. You ever thought this day would happen?
No, I didn't.
I mean,
actually,
that's crazy.
I did, but I didn't think it was reality. Like, I thought I was just thinking some crazy shit.
Like, you thought Amsterdam would just be Amsterdam and that's it.
I mean, even over there, you had to go into smoke shops. Like, you couldn't just smoke on the street. Like,
that's true.
Nigga, that shit is recreational. Like, you can just smoke bud, and they're removing it from piss tests. They're not drug testing people for marijuana. They left it out of the NBA. They do it for like probation or parole. Like, what the hell? You know how many people like smoke a little weed and end up going back to jail?
Right.
Man, that's amazing.
There's a lot of motherfuckers that know need to smoke some weed.
Yeah. Just smoke a little bud. You deserve to be on the street.
Get your life together.
You don't need to be in jail. Get that in your life. I'm very happy about that, and I think a lot of people are going to benefit from it.
Right. Now, you said that you're overseas with the Khalifa Kush.
Yes.
So we're in Amsterdam now, or you've been in Amsterdam?
We're in Amsterdam. We're going to Thailand. We're going to Germany. Okay. Yeah, those are a few places. The UK.
You know what part of Germany?
No, just the whole country, dog.
Okay.
Yeah, just Germany.
Dusseldorf, my friend.
Yeah, German weed, bro.
Just like saying Dusseldorf.
We doing mushrooms over there too.
Doing mushrooms.
Yeah,
He wanted to bring you some mushrooms.
You got the psychedelic mushrooms over here. You got some chocolates? All right, let's get it. Well, off camera, because
I felt like
those are crazy. Where the fuck did you get them from?
That's
Bro, I had some of them at Coachella one time. I was laying down on the ground.
I'm gonna do champagne.
Yeah, relax, boys. I don't want you to lay down on the ground right now.
No, that's why
we all just lay down and do the podcast, bro. Just like Marvin Gaye, bro.
One day, did you take a big piece like that or no?
When Twin was talking about the Royals?
Yeah.
Nah, them shits will have you fucked up right there. Yes, there's a whole eighth in there. That's all. That's an eighth. That's an eighth.
Whoa!
It's not an eighth.
7.8. Yes,
oh,
8.
0.8. 0.8. Oh, okay. The one I had a
3,
yeah. The one I had was a whole.
Fuck you, Bobby Lee.
Chocolate.
You're the one that's trying to burn Zap.
Roller coaster.
I was like, fuck it, let's try it, and we don't fucking do it. Now you want to quit,
your brother, like whatever it is.
This motherfucker, bro.
Yeah.
Remember, I felt peer pressure with Mike Tyson. It was just scary.
Well, me too. And I don't do none of this shit. He said, you better eat the shallow shit.
He gave you all shrooms?
Yeah, he gave us the chocolate.
Listen,
I love Mike Tyson, but I can't eat shrooms raw like that. Pause. Like,
no,
can't do it.
He gave me chocolate. He gave us a chocolate one.
But it was a live podcast in front of an audience.
But by the way, he wasn't aggressive at all. But in my mind, he was like, yeah. And I was like, all right.
I thought it was aggressive. He's like, you better eat this shit. Stop that bitch.
It's Mike Tyson, bro.
Yeah, it's Mike Tyson.
You never know.
Was this your first time meeting Mike Tyson when you just did the show?
Nah, cool. I met him before.
So, and you met Stoner Tyson, because there's a different version where he didn't get stoned. And
I did. I met him when he wasn't getting stoned, but he was always nice to me. Though.
Okay.
He's
a cool dude.
He's a cool dude. Like,
but this is the coolest version of Mike.
He just seems like one of them dudes like don't fuck with him type dudes. You know what I'm saying?
You don't play with Mike
Don't play with him. You know what I mean? All that playing around and shit. Like some niggas don't like that shit.
I remember it's funny as hell. EFN gave him a smoke challenge joint. He took the smoke challenge joint out. Just gave it back to EFN. And you held it. I was like,
he loves weed.
After the pod, after his pod.
Yes, after the pod.
He was mad aggressive there.
Yeah, he's aggressive.
He loves weed. He's all about that weed.
And didn't you also just play George Clinton?
Sure did.
Where'd you play it at? What?
It's this movie called Spinning Gold. It just came out. It's in theaters.
Okay.
It's about the story of Casablanca Records.
Wow.
Neil and all of the homies who started up this record label that hosted a bunch of legendary acts. Kiss, the Isley Brothers, Funkadelic, Parliament, freaking Donna Summer, Village People. Like, they just had the disco era on lock.
Right.
And, it just kind of describes their whole story and their rise and, in the music industry and what effect they had and the stories that go along with that.
Dope.
And I played George Clinton.
That's fucking
it was cool as hell. His grandkids was on the set, with us. They were actually in the band, so it was really cool, man. It was like...
You you got to meet George.
Yeah, fuck yeah, hell yeah. We smoked hella weed. He was here.
Yeah.
Right before I met him in person, he was like, "Yeah, I was just down there, blah blah blah."
His grandkids
That
were
nigga smokes hella weed.
Oh yeah, he went in.
I thought it was a joke because there's like, we don't want to make the older guys drink and shit. So we be like, okay, he's smoking, all right, cool. Oh, he kept going.
Yeah.
Going.
I performed with him too at the premiere. That shit was cool as hell. Yeah, it was dope to rock with his band. Like, I'm like a real music nerd, so just to see him conducting his band and hearing everybody like doing what they was doing, it was really tight. It was really inspirational.
What's an artist that you didn't have to work with that you would love to work with? That's
Jay-Z.
still alive.
Yeah. I haven't worked with Hov yet. And he smokes weed now too, so that's pretty cool. I want to work with Hov, man.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. I want to work with Hov.
I think we should make some noise for that. I think we should
get Stone, man.
Y'all ready for quick time?
Oh, we got quick time ready?
Yeah. Yeah, you want to explain the rules?
Yeah, we give you 2 names, places, or things. You pick one.
Clefairy.
Or if you pick neither or both, we drinking or smoking. You can take a shot, I guess.
Yeah.
By the way, before we start that, did you invent push-ups?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so
I didn't.
So like the game of bear pong, what is the legendary story of push-ups?
Push-ups is you take 10 puffs and you hold it in until you yeah.
Can you do push-ups?
If you can achieve 10, then that's like the respective number of push-ups. So if you don't make it to 10, then you tap out and you still need to work on your lungs. You need to get your push-ups together.
You need to get it together.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I've seen some of the best folds, so it's all good, man. Don't even worry about it. Don't even trip. Take practice.
Yeah.
A dab? I fuck with dabs. I smoke, whatever, bro. Bongs, papers, bowls. I just don't hit blunts. That's the only blunt.
Yeah, it's the famous footage of you kicking the dude out of the studio. He was in the studio session.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, Wiz is racist.
Yeah.
He racist against the blunt.
You gotta stand on something these days. Yeah. It was terrible. We were in a studio, like, it was like a dense area. You like blowing a grape swisher over. Just like, get this guy out of here, bro. Yeah, I offered him a joint. He didn't want it, so I was get out.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you today. It was almost like God sent. Because I woke up this morning, I had no swishers. And all I had was papers, and I was like, look at fucking Wiz's God working on me. Yeah. And then it was crazy, before I asked for the blunts, I just started rolling joints. The problem is with me, I suck at rolling joints. I can't.
They got cones.
I suck even more at that.
Bitch, let me fucking evolve.
I'm gonna show you a picture of what I did this morning. I had a whole shit pregnant. Like it was like, yeah, I couldn't do it. I can't do it. I guess I got a great grinder.
But how'd you learn how to roll a blunt?
Being in the hood. Yeah. Drinking milk and cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, but he be rolling my blunts though. Yeah, he roll my blunt. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so we're ready for the quick time. Okay. And I'm actually gonna do.
Sonny's not here, right? Oh, Sonny's here. You want a drink from him too?
I'm gonna do Japanese.
You want to take shots for him? Could be the ringer.
Oh yeah.
He is ready. He's got lemons fucking going out the rim of the glass. Fuck, Sonny.
Sonny, he'll smoke, but you'll drink a shot. Be the ringer.
Smoke a little Wiz joint. Now, wait, before we start this,
I should have brought
didn't you guys? Oh shit, it's filled already? Okay. Yeah. All right.
I should have brought the THC Mama Juana. They have one.
Oh,
damn.
Didn't you guys have a collab with Raw? Or,
yeah, I fuck with Raw.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Raw's been the premier joint and just our joint of choice. Probably since we started smoking them, like me and Spitta, we crossed over the joint around currency around the same time. Him before me, but I made it in time to create the law with him.
Right.
And we went through a couple different types of joints. There was zigzags, there was easy widers, there was Randy's. They had like these little wire in them, and you could like smoke it like that. Juicy J's. And then Elements, we liked Elements, and then we found out that Element and Raw was of the same company, but we just liked Raw a little bit better. And then that's what we started running with, the unbleached, The raw paper dips. Is it
unbleached? What's that?
It's paper, but it's not bleached.
Yeah,
a lot of
no
papers.
chemical.
Yeah, there's no chemicals. A lot of papers are like bleached and have different
that
chemicals
raw was
and
not-
stuff like that you're smoking.
They were
on
not
and they
natural.
might do to you,
Smoking a
but-
blunt. Some of y'all joints might have come out. We caught. Come out. The beady smokers. Hold up.
Yeah.
The beady? Oh, the vegan paper?
Vegan. Yeah.
You a vegan though?
No, I'm not a vegan. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
So yeah, raw paper. But we got Khalifa papers coming out.
That's what we talking about.
That's what you have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything I enjoy, I just spin it into my own lifestyle.
As you should.
So you want to talk about your liquor company? Because
Yeah, McQueen. McQueen is it's a gin. Anybody who followed me early in my career, I used to drink a shit ton of gin, and we drank Bombay, but that really wasn't that good. So we designed something that was based off of a better taste. Still the same great
Bombay's
gin feel,
nasty, dude.
but it's really smooth. Like a lot of people who drink gin, they don't like the flavor of it, but this one's smooth. It mixes well, and we have an infused one that just came out too. It's called Ultraviolet.
Is that the blue one? That you told me about it.
It's purple.
Purple,
So this
purple.
the full name of it is McQueen Violet Fog, and the purple one is Ultraviolet. But we're in the same family as Douce, Bel Air, Bamboo, Vion. Those are a couple of our other companies. We just keep making other little brands and blowing them things up.
Bottles color nice.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's a good gin. We taking over.
So you're not taking shots though?
No, absolutely not. Nah, I'll let y'all have that. You know what I'm saying?
All right, look, is it true before we go into that? Currency put you on the Rocky Jordans?
Yeah, I never even owned a pair of Jordans before I met Currency.
Fucking team,
I
dude.
never had one pair of J's before. I wanted some, but I just never
What were you
had.
wearing before?
Chucks.
That's I was gonna say. Compton,
Yeah. I mean, in Pittsburgh, like it's Air Forces, Timbs. Niggas wore J's, but like I had to choose like if I was gonna spend that much money on sneakers or other things. So it's like just growing up, that was just I never even thought about that. Like spending $130 or $50 on a pair of shoes. Like I would go to Army Navy and get some Dickies and get some white tees and some Chucks and Carhartt like a motherfucker. Like that was my whole style. So like. Yeah, so, I mean, but Tim's cost a lot, but you get like one pair of them a year, like, you know what I mean? Like, for real.
Not in New York.
Yeah.
In New York, we like 6 pair a year.
Well, I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was a fucking child.
As a kid, you was.
Okay, yeah. Look, I mean, all right, 2 pair a year. Yeah, like it's religion in New York.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like, and it's crazy because you got to get the right ones. Don't get the ones.
Nah, you got to get the leathers.
Yeah.
The double, like the soles got to be right on there and everything. Like we call them butters in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's a science to this shit.
Yeah. Like, but we mainly wore like Forces and shit like that. But yeah, Currency put me on to sneakers and cars and just like streetwear fashion in general. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just I always had good taste. Like, you know what I mean? But just like knowing what to get. Like,
that's fire.
Yeah, he put me in the right direction.
Make some noise for Currency.
Need you back, Currency.
Come on.
Ready to rock?
All right, cool. I wanted to make sure when the killer. Jamie tried to kill me the other day.
You taking shots, right?
I'm gonna take some.
Oh, yeah, join me.
I'm enjoying you. Well, if Wiz ain't going, that's good. It's a great guess.
Drink chance.
All right, cool. That's damn. He got a point.
I'm gonna smoke anyway.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah. You ready? First one, Tupac or DMX?
X.
Ooh. You got it. You got a reason why?
Do I have a reason why?
You don't have to explain.
Both great actors, both great, like a lot of passion, both poets. But I think for me, I went and bought X's first single. Like, I got Get At Me Dog with Stop Being Greedy on the other side. I bought the tape. So, like, it just means
that
more.
Black and white video.
Yeah, exactly.
You say tape?
Yeah, yep.
Gotta make some noise for you, sir.
Yeah, so it means a little bit more.
That man you say he bought DMX tape.
Yeah.
That's hard. Okay, you go next one.
Snoop or Currency?
Damn!
No, you can say both.
You can say both.
And that's when we drink.
And that's when
if
we
you say
drink.
both or neither, we drinking.
Both. Y'all gotta
and
drink
you
on
gotta take
that.
5. You gotta take 5 hits.
Take a shot, Sonny.
2.
Cheers.
3.
Yeah.
What do you gotta do push-ups.
Yeah. With that, okay.
It's different because it's paper.
Salute.
Oh, shit.
Make some noise for Wiz, goddamn.
That hookah's working.
Shit. All right. Okay. Don't do that again.
I got it on. Okay, I got it on too.
Shit. Hold on. I gotta go back to work. God damn. Wow. All right, cool.
Get 3 of those.
That's it.
Right,
Why would you like try to like solo Beza
or
when we're in a team fight, bro?
Shots?
Yeah, salute.
Both. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's make some noise for Heavy.
All right. I'm in the game now.
Got that Ooga's lit, baby.
That hookah's going in.
That shit
Ooga's
lit.
gone, baby.
I'm about to write a song in this bitch.
Oh.
You got it?
Oh no, damn, I'm lost. I'm a Ooga'd out.
I got you. Kiss or Styles?
Wanted to dance in their goal.
Fuck, I didn't expect none of them. Both.
Good. Salute.
1,
You should go for 6. Make it even.
2, 3, 4,
That shit getting me high, and I ain't even smoking it.
5,
Oh. Dios mío.
6,
Oh, you just gonna keep going. Oh, damn.
7.
Whew, yeah. It's a long game.
8.
One of these motherfuckers when they
9. I'm setting the standard.
Yes.
We got it. We got it.
10. All right.
Yes. Oh, by the way,
right, set the tone.
Forget. Let's big up the Uka.
Yeah.
And this is the 420 edition.
Yeah, the bar's been set.
Yes, the bar's being set. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Well, yeah, don't call it the gun. We call it the machine.
Yeah, relax,
call
bro.
it the machine. Get the machine out. Like the area.
No guns on premise.
Yeah, no guns, please. No.
Anybody
the
want
machine? Yeah, the machine.
I want to get the
All
right
right.
Well, wait till the next one. Till he
If I
says,
have to.
Okay, cool.
And that joins you.
What y'all putting in there? Y'all putting KK in there?
I do. Look. I don't think see if you peeped his face when he said, you got KK in there. He looked up like, you got some?
We good, baby.
You ain't see his face, though?
We good,
his
baby.
His face was so excited.
We good, baby.
Oh,